Hi, I'm David Gant, your Buncombe County Commission Chair. I'd like to talk to you about the May 18th meeting that we had recently. The most important thing by far that we talked about was the budget. We had a budget presentation by the county manager, and what that means is that's what the staff recommends we do with the budget, spending, and revenues. We're going to have a public hearing June the 1st that I invite you to come to and tell us what you think about the budget. Just like any other home, business, or nonprofit, it's been a lousy year money-wise. I think everybody knows that. We're in troubled times. Our sales tax was down 10%, and that's a real huge revenue generator for us. The money we get from the state will be cut. Even today, we don't know how much that's going to be, but we still have to forge ahead and do a budget. We're going to do a budget that is a total of $327 million. That's a lot of money, but interestingly, it's $117,000 less than last year's budget. How do we do that? Well, very, very carefully. It's a tough balancing act. Your commission, and we've got some wonderful commissioners on here, Vice Chair Stanley, Commissioner Peterson, Commissioner Bailey, and Commissioner Jones, have told Wanda Green and the staff our priorities are going to be education, public safety, and making sure that we have a social safety net where the people that don't have as much money as you and I do aren't just crushed by this horrible recession we're in. Toward that, the budget is going to keep the same tax rate. It'll be 52.5 cents. So everything's going to remain the same as far as your tax bill. And because of that, the school operating budget will actually go up $345,000, even in this tough time. The money that we spend to take care of people through emergency services, fuel assistance, and what used to be known as welfare is going to go up $875,000. It's a huge increase, but I don't think anyone needs to be convinced that the times are harder and people of moderate to low means need more help. And we're going to give them that help in Buncombe County. Finally, the other core service that we've got to take care of is public safety. Public safety is going to go up $517,000. We're going to continue to pay our staff as the professionals they are. They're going to get a 2.7% raise across the board. Now, a lot of folks have challenged us for this, and I suspect some of you may have some questions about it. The Buncombe County government staff is our front line. They're the people doing it every day. They're literally working 24/7. When you want your food inspected, when you have a car accident, when you have an emergency, God help us if we had a national emergency here or had some kind of toxic waste. These folks are going to be there at 2 a.m., 4 a.m., whatever it takes to get the job done. We're going to take care of them, and some boards may choose not to do that. I personally believe that the people that do the service for Buncombe County deserve a raise and should get a raise, and I'm going to support that. I've always supported that. I do that with my own office, on my personal life, and I'm going to do it as a commissioner. The sales tax, as I said, was 10% down. The other interesting fact that came out in our budget discussion is that Buncombe County government has less employees today than they did 10 years ago. Now, not a lot of governments can say that, but I would contend to you by wisely partnering with an awful lot of people, including Evelyn, ABCCM, the schools, just a host of people that we work with to make sure things get done, Swannanoa Valley Ministry. By doing that, we can do more with less money. And we're going to keep pushing the partnerships. We're going to keep pushing the need to spend money wisely, to use technology wisely so that we can do more with less. Because that's the way the government's going to have to go, more with less. 80% of our budget is safety, education, and operating for welfare type programs. So there's not a lot left after that. and we're going to watch every dollar. We pay the same taxes that you do. We're going to be good stewards of your money. But that was by far the bulk of the meeting. And again, I would invite you to the June 1 meeting where we'll have a public hearing and we'll hear what the public has to say about it before we make a final decision on what the budget should be. We're not going to turn our backs on kids, on schools, on poor people, and we're not going to cut corners on safety. It's just not the right thing to do, and we're not going to do it. The other major issue we had at our meeting May 18th was talking about zoning. We did some cleanup of the zoning laws and made sure that we get it to the point that it's proper legally and that we can enforce them and everybody knows what the rules are. The other matter of business that I'd like to talk about is a certificate that we got from Students Against Smoking. Buncombe County was the first county in the state to accept the General Assembly's invitation to enact harsher, stricter rules to prevent smoking. Now, smoking's still legal, and we respect people's right to smoke, and the smoking outside the parks, the buildings, the facilities that we have is a health risk to other people. The secondhand, third-hand smoke is a danger to people. It costs you and I more money. And while smoking's still legal, we think it's our obligation to protect the health of the public. And that's why we enact these laws. And the Students Against Smoking and Tobacco Products honored us, and we were honored to have them. But they honored us with a certificate of appreciation for our work and being a statewide leader in health and smoking policies that make it harder to smoke and hurt other people by habits of smoking. Again, we're not trying to hurt smokers. We know it's a horrible habit, but it's one that we have to come to grips with as a country, and we're going to do it in Buncombe County. So we're proud of that. We've always been a statewide leader in that, and smoking is going to be more difficult for people who choose to have that habit, but it will also be safer for all the rest of us who don't smoke. So those are the topics we talked about at our May 18th meeting. I hope you'll come to our June 1st meeting because the main topic will be the budget, and of course that affects everybody, what we do and what we don't do. I think it's a good budget. I think it's a budget that will reflect our times and will be fair to people. And that's one thing we've promised you we'd do our level best to do, and that's be fair to everybody. The final two things we did on at the agenda that I'd like to mention is we approved money toward Waller Park. Waller Park is an important part of the Greenway system that the city of Asheville is trying to put together, and we're partners with them. We're going to work with them, but it's a good, we allocated money to help buy that tract. And the other thing that we did is we approved money for people to have a master plan for our greenway and park and trail system. Now, a lot of you may say, well, I never walk, I never go off on greenways or trails. But if you go any time to any of our parks, you will see they're being used, and everyone should use them because they're very good. We want, at some point in our future, to be able to walk from Brevard to Tennessee. We ought to be able to do that. And Buncombe County needs to lead the way on this. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be incredibly expensive. But if we don't set goals and we don't put a bullseye out there that we can hit, we're never going to get there. And I'm glad the rest of the commissioners agree with me that we need to be visionary. We need to look ahead. Even in bad economic times, we need to have something to shoot for. And these are small pieces of the puzzle we're going to put together. And with your help and your support, we'll get that system built. And it'll be a tourism mecca. It'll be something we can all be proud of, and it's something we can use for the rest of our lives, part or all of it. And I'm proud to be part of that. I'm proud to be part of a board that looks ahead like that. So those are the topics that we talked about on May 18th. And again, I would invite you to our next meeting, which is June 1st. I'm David Gant, your Buncombe County Commission Chair, and I appreciate you listening.